Jim Schlichting.
Here.
Jason Brown.
Here.
Terry Honeycutt. Here. Jamie Hackley's absent. Jeff Jennings.
Here.
Joe Bell, absent. Mindy Hampton. Here. Dave McLean, absent. And I'm here. That's everyone.
Awesome. I will open this up to Mindy to talk about our 2024, 2025, 2026 tax rate.
Correct. And just to give a little information, I did some calculations. So 90% of our local revenue comes from Jackson County. 1% is Johnson County and 9% is Lafayette. So that's kind of just our divide. But so all in all, reassessment year, our assessed evaluation went up to $253,168,993. So up just about, what is that, 12 and a half million from last year. New construction was high this year, $11,317,173 as well. Thanks to our voters in August who approved that tax levy transfer from debt service to incidental. We're able to set our incidental tax rate at 3.6061. Our debt service goes down to 70 cents at 1.1670 for our overall tax levy, which remains the same as what we set last year at 4.7731. And so part of the reason when our tax levy increase in April didn't pass, we redid it in August for the transfer only in hopes to be able to recapture that this year. So setting this tax rate does reflect what those voters approved in August election. Any questions on our tax levy, tax rate?
Anybody in the audience that came to talk? No? Technically, it's
Yeah.
not here, right? Yeah.
And just a little bit more information, you know, so obviously we have 3 counties. Johnson County assessed evaluation was total $1.7 million. Lafayette County total assessed evaluation was $23,637,000, and Jackson assessed evaluation total was $227,819,000.
Questions, comments?
All in all, the transfer that we'll be able to see and then with it being a reassessment year, even though our reassessment, we kind of anticipated that we would have about 5% reassessment. We're gonna see a 1.27% additional revenue from the reassessment. The majority of the increase is from that 70-cent transfer, but we're looking at seeing about $2.2 million additional revenue due to the reassessment and the transfer that we got, that we're budgeting this year. Lots of that this year will be to help raise those reserves and get our reserves back to a comfortable spot.
If there are no questions or comments, would somebody like to make a motion? Jim? Is there a second for the approval of the tax rate as presented?
I'll second it.
A motion and a second for the 2025-2026 tax rate as presented. At an operating tax rate of 3.6061 and debt services rate of 1.167 for a total rate of 4.7731. All in favor? Is everyone? Seeing nothing else on the tax rate hearing meeting agenda, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
I'll make that motion.
Second. Motion and second to adjourn. We'll start open session almost immediately. All in favor? Okay, I will call our normal open session meeting to order at 5:34. Christie, would you like to take roll call?
Keith Moyer.
Here.
Jim Schlichting.
Here.
Jason Brown.
Here.
Terry Honeycutt. Here. Jamie Hackley's absent. Jeff Jennings.
Here.
And Joe Bell.
Here. We have a quorum. If you'd all stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Mindy is asking me to amend the agenda because we have a last minute, we got some bids on the track throwing arenas. amend the agenda to include the track throwing arena bid.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Terry.
I'll second.
Jason. Motion and a second to amend the agenda and approve. All in favor? Next up is the consent agenda. Need a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda.
Motion.
I'll second.
Thank you, Joe. A motion and a second. All in favor of approval of the consent agenda? Is everyone? Next up, we have some discussion items. Academic votes.
We do, is the rest of your team here?
Okay, so
Or is it you?
I think they thought it was at 7, because I thought it was at 7 till I saw on Facebook that it's at 5:30.
Okay.
So I don't know, like, if you want, should I present it or should I, like,
Well, are you comfortable presenting?
I mean, I can, I just feel weird being the only one, but if you want me to, I will.
Okay, well,
I think what you put out was 7, Mr. Mitchell.
Well, on social media, it's 5:30. That's where I saw it tonight, because I thought it was 7 and I just.
But I
was
saw
at home
something on
scrolling.
Facebook today that said board meeting started.
No, that was it.
Go.
it's totally up to you, Heather. I don't want you to feel, if you want to.
I don't mind to while I'm here. if
Okay,
you wanna
well,
hear
we
it.
would love to hear from you, so
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay, so do you guys mind to just take one and pass it around? So I just brought an example of what I do, there's 2 pages. What I do for vocabulary in my classroom, and I know vocabulary is a big focus in the elementary right now. The first page that coming around has like a little root on it, it's this one. And we do a root of the week. And so we talk about like Greek and Latin roots and what they mean. And so this is just an example of geo and tear, and it talks about, on one side it has the definition and example sentences. The other side is what the students would fill out, and we usually go through it together. They write the root and the meaning, and then they come up with some sort of illustration to help them understand what that word would mean. And then we come up with a couple of example sentences together. And then throughout the week, whether we're reading in our reading book, we do the newspapers on Fridays, those types of things, they look for those words to use, and we try to tally up how many times we could find a word that would use that root in it. And then the second thing, this is gonna be a whole lot of words. This is the page that I look at when I'm teaching new vocabulary words to the kids in reading. And so, I would just say like this word, for example, is evacuate. We usually have 8 vocabulary words a week, and then I pick 3 or 4 of those vocabulary words based on what words would they really see other places a lot, come in contact with a lot, need to know other than just the story that we're reading. And so one word that we've had before is evacuate, and so I have them say the word, we break it up into syllables, we talk about it's part of speech, and that's a really important one because a lot of times when they go to use it in a sentence, maybe some of the words can be a noun or a verb and they're using it the wrong way. So we talk a lot about their part of speech and using it in that way. And then you can see on this one has a Latin root on it also. So we talk about what that means. And then I give them a child-friendly definition, so not what you would read if you look it up in Webster's dictionary, because that gets pretty wordy for them, but just a child-friendly definition. And then number 3 are 3 examples, so I would just give them those 3 examples, sentences, using that word correctly. And then number 4 is yes or no questions. I always come up with 3 or 4 yes or no questions using the word, and then they give me a thumbs up for yes and a thumbs down for no. And then at the very end of that word, they share with a partner, they share sentences. So like use the word evacuate in a sentence, they share with their partner, and I ask for a couple kiddos to share with the class. And then usually when we finish our vocab activity, like I said, there's 3 or 4 words that we go through. And then I'll also post the 3 or 4 words from the prior week. And then they have to write a sentence using one of this week's words with one of last week's words in a sentence, just to show that they remember what they see. So that's my spiel.
Thank you for that information. Will you want to share a little bit about the change in 5th grade this year, just since you're here in 5th grade?
So we are partially departmentalized. So I am teaching 3 sessions of reading. There's 2 teachers. So it goes by like our recess, lunch, and encore groups. 2 teachers teaching 3 sessions of reading, 2 that teach 3 sessions of ELA, and then 2 that teach just the science and social studies. So we're working out all the things. So far, so good. We're working on remembering all of our supplies and that type of stuff. But I think it'll be a really good thing for them when they go to middle school, just to have some of that, a little bit of that responsibility already.
What do the kids think of the day being divided and just?
So some love it. Some really like to just stick with one person all day. But they all have said it really makes their school a lot faster.
So they're changing classrooms?
Yeah, 3 times.
That's good.
And we got some baskets, and so they have everything they need in their basket. They literally take it out of their desk and take it with them, so they should have all of their, it's just helping to make sure they have all of their supplies with them all the time.
And does that free up time for you because you're spending, you're not teaching another subject then?
So,
At least preparing.
yes, I feel like planning, it does go faster, and I really feel like I'm able to plan better lessons because I have more time to devote to that.
To that one lesson.
So I do feel
Just
like,
more grading and more parent contact for your subject.
Yes.
More kids that you serve.
yeah, I really like it so far.
That's a good idea. 5th grade was tough. It's a tough grade. They're not in middle school yet. My kids all, none of them had you. Disliked 5th grade. It was hard, but I think this is part of the change is getting them out, moving them around. You're not
And
stuck
they
with the
are,
same
some of them
core
are
of kids.
in that middle school mentality where they need a little movement each day.
Yeah.
And it's nice the way we're starting them off because they're moving with the same set of kids. It's not, they're switching classes amongst kids like they will in middle school. They're just kind of getting their feet wet at it. They're moving with the same group and they literally just go down the hallway and come back all together. Yes, sir.
Have you guys talked about what that'll look like for parent-teacher conferences?
I don't know yet.
So is it like 1 hour, like 2 hour blocks? I'm sorry, maybe you said that.
It's 50 minutes.
50 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So they change classes 50 minutes.
3
They
times,
Come back
yeah.
to their own room.
Uh-huh.
And then, okay.
So when it's math time, they go to the math.
So we all teach
Teacher.
math, since it's new, we all teach math. But they, I'll do my classes reading, and then after that, they go next door for spelling, grammar, and writing. And then after that, they go next door for science or social studies, and then they come back.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate
Thank you
you
for being here.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Sorry for the miscommunication.
That's okay.
What happens when you change?
Tell them they owe you
date
lunch.
and time.
Heather covered it. You all stay home. We're good. Yeah.
Got it.
Thank you for that. Next up is the construction project update. Payout number 5.
That's right. Tyler, you want to give us a construction update?
Yeah, I will.
We have movement.
Well, we have movement. You guys driven past the middle school practice field. Have you
That's
seen
great.
it?
Looks green.
It's fast. It's
Sign
green,
went in
right?
today.
Finally.
Yeah.
We
Yep.
signed it today.
So there's definitely progress there. Back here on site, girls' locker room. Our slab was poured about 2 weeks ago. The CMU block walls, it will start tomorrow. So all the interior walls, they're gonna start going up. That will help us bring in electrical, plumbing, and our sprinkler trades, all those reference projects that they can do while the block walls are still going in and can get started. So it might look like they were kind of working backwards because you might see them now up in the ceiling, working back to where they're gonna be going, bringing it up through the walls. But all that rough end girls side, we're starting to get some movement. Boys locker room. So CMU block walls, they're about 90% complete. All the in-wall electrical and plumbing has been finished. They are now starting with the the above ceiling work, lighting, plumbing, sprinklers. So sheet metal crews, they are also on site for all HVAC and exhaust hoods. And then they were out end of last week and they did the field measurements for all of our hard surface countertops that go inside that boys locker room. And then on the exterior side, we are probably around 40% completed with pouring concrete into our footings. And so at that point, you're like, Tyler, how much is that? So at this point, we've poured roughly about 200 yards of concrete strictly for nothing but footings. And so everything, they've started basically on the southwest corner. They're going to continue from that corner and work their way to the east to the drive and start working to the north side again. So that takes us to today and tomorrow. There is a big pour along that east side, and they're looking at about 80 to 100 yards just in the next 2 days on footings. So we're moving, great progress. And then ECC parking lot. So yes, they've moved a lot of dirt. We still have, I don't know what the percentage is. I mean, you can step back and look at it. We're really, really close to grade by the eye. But there's still some information missing on one of our ASIs. We don't know exactly which curb inlet boxes we need. So they can't go buy them, get them on site and finish the grading work around it. But a lot of progress, a lot of dirt's moved on the ECC parking lot.
And tomorrow we have a construction meeting, and we'd asked, our last meeting, we meet every 2 weeks, we had asked for an updated timeline with the permitting delays of the drainage project. We
Yeah.
were hoping to get, so
And
we're finalizing some
I
things.
tried to get it today, say, are we looking Thanksgiving or Christmas? And
Yeah.
they won't, they're making us wait till tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Bummer. All right. Either way,
Yep, Tyler.
yeah.
Thanks.
See nothing else on discussion items. Next action item is approval of the MSBA 2025A policy update.
Yep, so this is our third read of this, mostly due to just change in state statute. A lot of wording changes, hopefully, last month we talked about them a little bit further, but, all in all, nothing big as far as procedure or policy, mostly just updating of some of the language to meet those state statutes.
Any questions or comments on those policy updates? Entertain a motion for approval.
Make a motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thanks, Jim. Motion and a second for approval of MSBA 2025A policy update. All in favor? Is that- Next up is a construction change order for scrubber docking.
Scrubber docking, so this was our request. Once we got the autonomous scrubbers in, we wanted and needed a place, a good, secure, safe place for this autonomous scrubber goes, it docks itself, it dumps its own water, refills, and so Tyler worked with them, and I'll let you speak a little bit more to it, because you had actually a great plan that saved us more money, but where we put it.
Yeah, so it's up on the mezzanine, so we all know the spot, right on the, well, on the home side before you enter the hallway. And you can already see the black metal cages, but we're gonna we're gonna take the metal cages out. We're gonna build a little bigger room. It needs the much wider doors. The autonomous scrubber needs about to be safe, probably an 8 to 10 foot radius. And when she's done, we can lock it up at the end of the night. But to do that, we need a core drill, excuse me, through the mezzanine, and directly underneath that mezzanine is the boys' locker room. So now would be a good time to tie into that plumbing and that water line while our plumbers are on site, incorporate them to core drill, plumb it up, tie it in, everything's new, and we'll be good to go.
Yep, so that, all in all, those changes are $4,415.58.
Wow. It's nice to have a change order that is like five digits. Why are you wasting our time with that?
Following?
That's all right.
But yeah,
still
yes.
It's not 400?
It was still funny to see the plumber 760 and the foreman's 1,000. I laughed at that.
It is our smallest change order to date.
Yeah, there you go. Keep them coming.
Minor victory.
Yes,
And it's an approval, yes.
and it's something we wanted, we needed, we asked for, yes.
Okay.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Jim. Is there a second?
I'll say.
Thank you, Terry. Motion and a second for approval of the construction change order for the scrubber docking. All in favor? Is everyone? Next up is the item we added to the agenda, which is the approval of the track throwing arena.
Yes, so I originally had this on my radar. We needed to get it approved this month, but we were waiting on one more bid that we got today. So, so this is the track area, so the parking lot at the primary is removing and interrupting our current throwing area. Our throwing area also has been needing revamped. If you have a discus or a
Kind of a
shot
push
put
to
on it.
call it a
A true
throwing
throwing
area.
area. And obviously,
Okay,
we
yeah.
want-
We're not missing a lot there.
Right, and several years ago, we added the javelin runway, so the goal is to have facilities be able to host district sectional track meets. And so this will definitely do that for us. And so you can see in the picture, north of where the current primary parking lot is, this is the stadium parking lot here. So we're moving there's this discus ring is already here. So the discus isn't moving in the area, we're just enhancing it. This discus ring here is pretty, I mean, there's really hardly any concrete. It's just broken up. It's a lot of gravel, a lot of weeds. So we want to enhance that and then add it, there's a pad down here, but we wanna add a discus ring here, so they'll be able to throw from this area. What's moving is our shot put down to this area, closer to the pond, so we'll have some excavation work to do right there. And then long run, we wanna eventually, as a district, put in, some bleachers right here, there's some shade trees up in this area. And we also have the grant that we got from Truman Heartland Foundation for our pond, that we wanted to put a pad and a pergola and a picnic area. And so we're looking at probably putting that back in this area too, because it is flat and it's a little shaded, but it would be nice to be able to use that as a person interested in the pond, but also if you're here for a track meet. And then down here in the shot put area, we are looking at doing a 3-ring shot put. So 3 different rings. The center one will be the one for competition, but the other 2 rings for practices, so that more than one kid can throw at one time. So Tyler reached out. So we belong to TIPS, which is a cooperative procurement processing center. So we got 2 bids out of TIPS, and that's what we have today. The first one is from Mack McConnell and Associates, and their bid is $135,862. And the second bid we got is from Midwest Synthetic Turf Professionals, $142,750. Tyler has worked with McConnell in the past. McConnell's well-known for doing lots of sporting. Midwest is synthetic turf, specialized in turf. They've done our turf in the past. They do tracks now, and they're going more into the concrete last few years and doing more sports arenas as well. Close bids, very close bids. Obviously, we like to save money. $135,000 is my recommendation since it's the cheapest. Midwest Synthetic Turf is a local patron, a local guy, lives here in Oak Grove, supporter of our school, kids go to our school, and that definitely, is something that we want to work with. They support our school well. These funds we're using capital project funds instead of bond funds with, I don't know, and it doesn't make a difference. $7,000 is $7,000. So my recommendation still is to accept that lowest bid. Both great companies, both wonderful to work with, very, very equal in what they provide and the reputation that they have. Therefore, the lowest bid would be the recommendation that I would submit.
I called Craig just because he's who owns Midwest Synthetic Turf. His subcontractor doing the work is McConnell.
Okay.
So,
We're the same people no matter what.
so you're getting the same subcontractor no matter what. So, I mean, obviously there's some changes that happened with this because the initial scope that went out was different than what McConnell bid on again. That's why you're seeing a little bit difference in price, but, I mean, it really doesn't, I mean, we talked a little bit about this, just because obviously having a local guy involved, you wanna, at least give them an opportunity just because, I mean, it's the local guy, talking to Craig, this wasn't like it's like a do or die thing for his business for this. Honestly, for the $7,000, like we kind of talked about, his book of business is synthetic turf, and that's what he has done a really good job with. Our current
Yeah.
field right now is awesome. We love our field. With Tyler coming on board, he's building a relationship with Tyler and able to, grooming the field, all the field maintenance that's there. So I mean, that's something that's helping. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things, is it worth it for $7,000 to go with a local guy, even though it's gonna be the same subcontractor? Kind of my 2 cents with the two is just something we have to kind of be cognizant of. This is one of our biggest supporters for Athletic Booster Club. So if you go to football Friday nights, you'll see this logo on the video board every Friday night. So then that comes to play. Do you want to get into a weird world where hey, you're giving quotes to somebody who's an Athletic Booster Club person, or do you shy away from that? I personally, honestly, don't have a say in that because I think it feels weird in a way. So
That's why we have the bidding process, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
Yeah.
you create a set of documents, this is what we want done. You have bids, as long as the bids meet the spec. Low bid typically wins unless there's exorbitant circumstances. My opinion.
yeah.
Any questions or comments?
Are you comfortable with everything that's in the bid from McConnell now?
Yeah, yep,
That's the biggest thing, is that.
yeah. They hit all the check marks. Maybe,
I mean, both of them put in there that the exclusions, what it doesn't include. As far as, you know, sod irrigation, if we needed that. Midwest had a few more exclusions as far as permitting relocation of existing utilities, soil stabilization, repair of existing parking lot, roadways, sidewalks, if anything worked. I mean, I'm sure they do that for their protection, but.
And the exclusions, any item not listed above is pretty vague.
And both say that. Mhm.
It basically means for this price, you get what's listed above.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, that's pretty standard. Any other comments? So the recommendation is to approve for, sorry,
McConnell.
McConnell and Associates. Anybody like to offer a motion?
No motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the bid from McConnell Associates. Any other questions or comments? All in favor? Severed. Okay. Next meeting date is our regular monthly meeting, will be October 15th. Open at 7, I suppose at 6-ish.
Yep.
Seeing nothing else on the agenda, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Jeff?
Second.
Motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor? Everyone, thank you. Our open session. Thank you,
Things
everyone.
for you to sign on